give it up right here. This is my guy. Yes. I'm so happy to see you.
Hey, gratitude is a skill, guys. But if you practice, it will give you a joyful life regardless of your circumstances. I mean, I'm going to get out there and let it rip. That's for sure.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Alan Cutler, honored and pleased to be with you. Boy, am I honored and pleased to be with you. We had a power outage. Nothing like having a power outage and you come home and everything in your refrigerator is no good. And you and your wife are spending, about an hour and a half cleaning up water and throwing food out. That was lovely, but was spectacular. We just got back from Colorado. My son got married. It was the best, probably 6 days we've ever had as a family. Outside my daughter getting married, they're equal in our mind, but this was unbelievable. And if you saw a picture of an elk, there were 6 or 7, we're getting different count right in front of us. So you're taking these pictures before the wedding, and in this lodge that isn't very big, the elk started coming up. And Jimmy, it was so strong, my son said, hey, everybody, move to the back, move to the back, move to the back. And we did. That was a pretty big little elk, wasn't it, Jimmy?
Yeah, that was a full-size, very big elk.
That was the biggest, by the way. There were some babies there as well, but that was the most impressive. So we had the time of our lives. I'm honored to be with you, really am. Didn't miss the show a lot, to be honest, because I was doing all family. And then the last 2 days, I've been catching up like crazy from watching the game, this, that, and the other. Let me set up the show. Scott Boley, dad of Cutler, will be joining us in just a couple of moments. Then my dear friend, Dr. John Wong, will be joining us at 12:30, author of many books, including Ours, Cut to the Chase, and a rapidly rising star in the media, which doesn't surprise me. Van Hiles will be at 1 o'clock. And whatever time is left over, we have a lot of bites to play, from Cutter to Bush Hamden, the whole thing. Before Scott comes on, he's in the waiting room. All right, let's just do it. One of the things I'll explain later as to why I believe part of the problems happened with the offense with it seemed like 1,000 delay of penalties. But we're not going to get into that now. Honored and pleased to have Scott Boley on. And Scott, how's your 3-point shot from your days at Western Kentucky?
I'm actually, my birthday's today, so I'm getting a little older, but if I don't have to move, I can stand there and still knock it down.
Happy birthday to you. Day to you. Happy birthday, Scott Boley. Happy birthday to you. How old, can I ask?
55.
50. Oh, man. Dude, you're a spring chicken. With a lot of people, I can say I have T-shirts older than you. I don't. I actually have a couple of things left from when I left here the first time. Bill Cutler gave me this big package to take with me, thinking I'd never see him again. And especially, I have a beautiful Kentucky sweatshirt from 1984. And don't tell anybody, I got to lose some more weight to wear it. But here and there, it's vintage. Matter of fact, years ago, I was offered $100 for it, and I turned it down. How stupid am I?
I was going to say that old is probably worth something now.
Probably. Kindly gave it to me. So certain things, it's like, I just couldn't sell it. Neither here nor there. Okay, Scott Boley, how are you? And I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. You got a wildly talented son, and you're in the stands. And I don't care if it's you or me or anybody else whose son is a backup who's really good, and you're not seeing your son in the game. This is just normal parent stuff. This is not a shot against Kentucky or anything like that. But normal parents, have you said to yourself, hey, coach, put him in?
I told somebody this yesterday, being a family really full of basketball and baseball players, nobody ever warned me when Cutter wanted to do this when he was little that a quarterback parent may be the worst of all possible scenarios. A little more pressure at that position. That never dawned on me when he was younger, but no, he couldn't enjoy it any more than he does. So it's worth it, but it is a little nerve wracking for sure.
physically speaking, and this is pretty normal. You know, kids get bigger and stronger and all that kind of stuff. And so it's not surprised that your son looks bigger and stronger. But he looks like he's put on about 20 pounds.
I think it's about 22, and I was about right at 20, or close to his age when I was actually thinner than thinner than he was, believe it or not, when I came out of high school. So it's about the age we all of us honestly filled out. So I was expecting it naturally, but having said that, I know he really put a lot of effort into the nutrition part, especially in the off season, and getting good quality proteins and things like that. He made a real conscious effort with that. But I think it's about 20, 22 pounds from this time last year.
Oh, but it looks like good weight, not the kind of weight I put on.
No, he right now has really no fat on him.
He doesn't. He looks like he's about 10, 12, 13%, whatever that certain something is, which would be my left leg.
Yeah.
Talk about the joy and frustration about being a dad, because I think I'll give you a great example. Evan Daniels' mother, remember when not Evan Daniels, Daniels, the lefty. Eric Daniels. Evan Daniels is the agent now. Eric Daniels, thank you. See, I'm older than you, so I need help with things. I never will forget doing a story with his mom. She was lovely, by the way. And Eric was a mama's boy, and he's been really successful, and nobody's surprised. Smooth lefty. She couldn't watch. So he literally go to her seat, and second half, tight game.
Start walking.
Arena. She can't bear to watch. And she's not the only one. Probably 4 or 5 parents through the years have I come across them saying that. So what goes through your cranium and your stomach? I want you to give me a feel of your stomach.
I couldn't sit still at high school games for sure. And honestly, if it was easier at a college game, I'd probably move around there too. It's just kind of hard to do that and walk around and still see the game in a college stadium. So you kind of have to sit still. But I think it would help me if I could walk around. But yeah, it's just I think it depends. I'll give you an example. My oldest son Jackson's in medical school now, and he played football his senior year after not playing since 6th grade because he was frustrated because he couldn't play baseball anymore due to an injury. Blah blah blah. But a lot of people was like, why aren't they throwing him the ball more? And he was just doing it for fun. Therefore, it didn't bother me because I knew he was just doing it for fun, so it's not a big deal. But in cases like this, where I know how bad Cutler wants it, I know how badly he's worked, then I think subconsciously you just naturally as a parent feel that more, feel more pressure yourself just because you know how much they want
it. Jimmy, do me a favor. Re-cue up clip number 4. Scott Boley. It's very short, but I want to go into what your son said, which I love, by the way. I don't know if you heard it in the open. Let's see if Jimmy's got a thumbs up. I've got the wrong setting here. Nope.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. Play this, and then I want you to react, and I think it'll put a smile on your face if you hadn't heard or maybe seen the whole little media scrum from yesterday. This is Cutter Boley yesterday.
I mean, I'm going to get out there and let it rip. That's for sure.
I'm going to go out there and let it rip. That's for sure. So, it's interesting. We're on YouTube now, and you heard the soundbite, and Scott, birthday boy, boom. You had a nice smile.
Yeah, that's good. I actually heard a different one from yesterday. I think sometime when I first got up having my coffee this morning, where they asked him about getting first team reps, and he said he'd been practicing the whole time like he was a starter, or preparing like he was a starter from day one. So I actually like that comment as well. Like it's not new. I've been preparing for this the whole time. So no, I like it. He's been in a good headspace. I think had a good attitude for quite a while now, which I'm really more proud of than anything because he's just kept a good attitude through this.
That's not the first time he said that to the media, by the way. He said it last year as well. And I think he said it. I think he said it before the Texas game, as I recall. In other words, okay, so I'm going to go in a game, but I've been preparing. One of the other things he said is he's now at the point where he can tell other people where they need to go, which is not a little thing because you're already nodding your head.
Yeah.
It's a big thing for any quarterback because he understands the offense. I mean, the sequential thing is, you get to learn the plays. Now he's got to figure out what the heck he's got to do first. You better get that down, and then when you kind of have a really good feel what you're doing, you can say to Wilder, hey, you, boom, boom, move out 3 yards or something or you're on the wrong side. So now he knows that. And the letting it rip thing was nice, but that might have been stronger to me because that told me, well, you have a very smart young man. Everybody looks at the quarterback. He's a very smart young man, and now he knows where everybody goes, and that's huge. And he's telling wideouts at times where to go.
We've talked about that. Yeah, I think this time last year, he said, I absolutely knew the playbook inside and out. But when you're brand new like last year, I know what play it is. I know where everybody's going. But now a year later, he said, not only did I know that, but I know what everybody should be doing, and I know conceptually what we're trying to do, possibly even to set up the next play. It's like a whole. You said I can see it laid out in my head what we're trying to do on this drive or what we're trying to do in this quarter, whatever. It's not just knowing this guy goes 5 yards and does a dig or whatever. I know what we're trying to accomplish overall.
I'm going to interpolate what you said. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. So whether it's your son or any quarterback, you show up and you're trying to play checkers, literally, and trying to move things. It sounds like now that Cutter Boley, your son, is playing chess.
Trying to, for sure. Yeah, no, I think he's definitely way more mentally comfortable. And I never felt like he was uncomfortable last year. And I think that's just a natural more year under your belt and experience and things you can't get until you do it, and I think obviously having game reps is going to be even more important in that process because, when practice is great, but it's still not the same as guys flying at you in live reps. So, with some reps under his belt here, I think that hopefully could progress, more quickly.
Oh, I'm sorry for stepping on you, Scott. Scott Boley, kind enough to join us for a couple minutes. Psst, psst. It's just you and me and people across the country listening. Hey, if you tell me a secret, do you have any idea? And if you know and you can't tell me, I think you know me well enough. It's all good. But do you know if he's going to start or has he not been told? But the thing that I like, he's finally taking reps with the first team.
Right. No, just getting those reps and actually preparing is good. He knows what's going on. We know what's going on, but I don't know what's out there and what's not. So I'm going to pass on answering that fully.
That's fair. That's more than fair. I hope you don't mind that I asked.
No. He knows what's happening, and we do as well. So it's all good.
Okay. So now that, Stoops said, this is not you, that he's going to play. When, early or late, I have no clue. So that's how we're leaving this. So now on Friday night, you going to have trouble sleeping?
Probably. No, it's not. It's really not. It's one of those things where it's more of game time. Like we've talked about that with all our kids. I mean, no matter what happens, great, bad, in between, they're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And then in the moment when it kicks off, parent wise, it's a little harder. It feels, you feel that stress, but I don't think so. I mean, I think I'll sleep okay. I think, he, knowing how much he truly does enjoy it, it helps too. It's not something he's making himself do or he's miserable while he's doing it. He just happens to be good at it, whatever. He truly loves every bit of it.
I think it's important to say that your son wants to be here. And I think that's a big deal in today's world, as you know all too well now, with the phone calls you've gotten and all that kind of stuff. I'm not asking you to get specific, but he's not the only one. There's a lot of kids on this football team and many football teams. This is normal stuff. Could have left, but he wanted to be here. Ty Bryant wanted to be here. And there are others. And in today's crazy world, and God bless what these kids make, more power to them. That's not where I'm coming from. But the fact that, young people like Ty and Cutter want to be here, I would hope that this fan base, which is like a lot of fan bases where they, breed loyalty and respect loyalty and love loyalty. And I really want to push this, that he wants to be here. And I think that is absolutely huge.
It is. And there's nothing fake about that. He coming here in the first place was totally his decision. When we talked about a lot of things and, obviously, he's fortunate to have a lot of great offers. And, I got the day he committed, I got woke up before my alarm went off by, I won't say who, but I got multiple head coaches trying to get him to flip. So, and he wouldn't even talk about it. Honestly, this is where he wanted to be, without question. So, he loves the program, loves, coaches, university, fan base. He himself is all in. So it's good.
That's interesting. Most of the time it's coordinators and stuff like that. But the day you're going to sign, the big guys are calling and say, hey, can we get you to flip? Can we get you to flip? And Cutter's not the only one.
Yeah.
But the head coach is doing that, that's crazily impressive.
Yeah, it's you do deal with coordinators typically more than you do head coaches, but sometimes when it comes down to the end like that, they head coaches step in a little more.
Yeah, like I am the closer. Anything else that's going on that hits your mind? I mean, can you go anywhere without somebody asking you about Cutter, where it's a grocery store, going to get a cup of coffee? You know what I'm saying? Can you go anywhere without people coming up to you, or is your face still fairly anonymous, which will decrease
Yeah,
with time?
if I'm with Cutter in town, people recognize him, but no, they don't really recognize me for the most part. Different when Cutter's with me for sure, but no, not myself. I did wake up on my birthday this morning, have coffee on the front porch, and next door neighbor walked out with her dog and immediately said, "Hey, I saw Cutter's going to play this weekend." It's the first thing I heard this morning.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Did you hear that before? Happy birthday.
Yeah, I did. That's the first thing I heard this morning. That's okay with me.
Anything else about being a dad? And I think you're not the only one, but makes it unique. Everybody in your family, your wife, your kids, have been very, very, very successful athletes on different levels. So because of that, in our conversations, it's not that if you're a parent of a kid who's an athlete and you haven't played, you can't figure it out. I'm not being disrespectful, but from our conversations, I think you have a very mature understanding of what life is as an athlete, and then it just increases because your son's a quarterback. Anything else going on you want to share?
No, just on that subject, I'll tell you, as much success as my daughter was fortunate enough to have in basketball, I think it was this last spring, maybe sometime around the spring game, somewhere around there, just watching him both play and interact with his teammates. She was just with my wife and I, and she said, basketball did a lot for me and I loved it, but watching him, I didn't love it like he loves it. Just
wow.
To the just down deep, I guess. And that's not to say she didn't love it. Don't get me wrong. That was coming from her. That kind of meant something though, because she just watching him and everything he does. That was interesting that she told us that.
And we're talking about player of the year nationally, All-American and Miss Basketball. Pretty good.
She did okay.
What does she do now?
She is expecting our first grandbaby December 1st, a little girl.
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, she's her husband is a recruiting coordinator and hitting coach at Kent State.
Okay.
Baseball, and he was very good catcher for Louisville, caught in a couple of College World Series for them, and so we may be having a baseball softball grandchild here.
That'd be a beautiful thing. As a matter of fact, if you want to put some stock out, I'm buying.
Yes, it's good genes there. Good genes there. He was a very good athlete himself. So, yeah, they're not able to come into games as much this year just with her pregnancy, and he's got fall baseball right now. But I'm curious to see if we're going to be at the Louisville game because she's due like a day or two after that Louisville game, so it could be somewhere right around there.
Now that's real tension.
Yeah.
That's real. I'm telling you, it is the best thing in the world.
That's what everybody says. Can't wait.
Your kids, I'm sure your friends have told you that, but as much as you love your kids, it's just different. I think because of the stage of life that we're in. People ask me this sometimes. Do you ever talk to coaches? And if this private conversations, I'm not asking you to say something you shouldn't say. But you got over 100 kids on the football team. Not everybody's created equal. It's just not. I mean, anybody thinks that all players are created equal with coaching staff, it's silly. It's not true. You ever talk to them? You say, "Hey, your son's there. That's fine. Leave it alone." That kind of thing.
I try not to ever. Honestly, during the season, I've never really, as much as we've been involved in sports, I've never tried to talk to even a high school coach about playing time, blah blah blah. I just try to stay away from that. That's Aaron's high school coach. Actually, my daughter's one time stuck with me. It's very simple, but it's true. He said, when you practice, basically make me have to play you. As a coach, don't give me a choice. You stand out so much in practice that I have no choice but to play you. It doesn't matter what mom and dad say or anybody calling me. Just you do what you have to do in practice to get yourself on the field. So the coaches have been great. I mean, they after the two scrimmages, they came up to me, Coach Hamden, Coach Stoops, and talked to me on their own. Actually, Mike Hartline, I think, has been a great addition, by the way. And talked to those guys. Really told me how Cutter was doing, that kind of thing. But one of them called me yesterday just to let me know what was going on. So, not necessary, but at the same time, I appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Mike Hartline because it wasn't easy when he got here. I remember on the back field, one of the times that they allow us to watch practice. In the old days, you could watch practice, whatever. He was on the back field and he was working with the quarterback coach, and he was having difficulty completing short passes. I'm serious. I've told this story before. Short passes with really nobody guarding. And he worked his tail off. And the few times I saw him early before, his accuracy, at least when I was there, wasn't that good. And he improved and he improved and he improved and he improved. And, I don't like the term overachieve because then you say, well, he really had that potential. However anybody wants to look at that word, but overachieved. And because it was tough for him, and he ended up, I think, having a much better career than people gave him credit for. I've always said it then, I'm saying it now. I have a lot of respect for him. And I think he's going to be a really good coach. When I say really good, when I say I can see him being a coordinator, not next year or the year after, you know what I'm saying? Got to pay his dues. I can see him being an offensive coordinator someday. And I think he's a really good guy. Now, he's a good man. Boy, I'm getting old. Sorry, Scott. I think he's a really good man to have as another whisperer, whether it's in Cutter's ear or anybody's ear, if that's too long-winded.
Now, Cutter's really appreciated having him for sure. You can tell he knows what he's doing. He's done it, which is different too. And he not only did he do it, he did it here. So I think it's been a good resource for Cutter to lean on. And I've appreciated even the things he's told me about what they're working on with Cutter, even in the spring and the summer. And I think it's a great addition having him, especially having somebody on the sideline, right there with you. So I know some coordinators go up, some stay on the sideline, but I think having one in the booth and one there, both is extremely helpful actually. But yeah, he's been good, and congrats to him. I think he just has a new baby himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that makes me feel old. I picture him and some guy named Randall Cobb. He did flip-flopping and throwing passes and stuff. Like, good for Heartline. Look, anything else you want to add about this? If not, I appreciate your time.
No, it's been good. I appreciate you having me.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Really cool. Double fives. I never wish anybody bad, so I wish Zach the best. But I've said this on the show, not with you being here, many times. I'm a huge fan of your son. I'm a huge fan because of not just his talent, but how he handles himself and how you handle yourself, which at times, because I try to put myself in your shoes. My son actually won many national championships in Taekwondo a long time ago. And I remember my stomach, what that felt, and that wasn't playing quarterback for the University of Kentucky Southeastern Conference. And so what you're going through is amplified tremendously. But when it's your son, it's your own son. You guys have handled yourself with class. I'm rooting like hell for you. I wish you the best of luck, and maybe down the road we can talk after Cutter's thrown 4 touchdown passes or something like that.
Appreciate it. Hope that happens. Yes, sir.
It's going to happen. Hey, Scott, thank you. Happy birthday to you. Appreciate you. Have a great day. You too. That was terrific. Jimmy, that was a home run. And you could feel, couldn't you feel, the double-edged sword from a positive way? Part dad, duh. But this is a guy, everybody in his family. Really, everybody in his family has been so successful. And the fact that his daughter, she was a superstar high school player and had a hell of a career in college, that and she liked the game. And he was very strong, I thought, to point that out. But that Cutter loves the game even more. Jimmy, we're going to play 2 of these sound bites in particular later on during the week. But I thought that was powerful. And he comes across as a great dude. His stomach has to be churning more than you admit, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. And like he said in the beginning, it's like being a quarterback parent at a game has got to just be the most stressful. And because they always show it in the crowd, the quarterback's parents, the mom and the dad sitting there. But you can't imagine unless you've been in it, the anxiety, the knots in your stomach that you're feeling. I could not imagine. It's one of those that you don't envy, but at the same time, how cool would it be to have your son or daughter in that position as the primetime player for XYZ team?
Yep. And I would rather have that pit in my belly than not have that pit in my. Yeah. I told the story this weekend because my son got married. The time we went down to Georgia Military School, and I purposely didn't sit with the people in Lexington. and it's big stands. There were thousands of people there. I think about 5,000 people, if I recall right, something like that. Place was packed. And as JJ's going out to compete, Jimmy, these people are saying, psst, psst, psst. Nothing from Lexington now. Psst, psst. There's that JJ kid. Because he had won previously many national. There was 3 national championships to have, and he won 2 of them for a number of years. He never won the fighting thing. I guess it's because my son got married. How about this? So he had this form that he made up, and he would finish with rolling somersaults, right? And then he would do a punch, and the judges just they're in chairs lining up, and the head judge is in the middle. And he threw a punch at the head judge, and I'm not kidding you, missed the nose literally by like 2 inches on purpose. And it's when he did that, I'm freaking out. And the place went crazy and went, yeah, he's going to win this one too. So I know that feeling as a dad, but I don't know that feeling what Cutler has. Plus, how do you not root for the kid? It's pretty good. Wow, it's 12:27. I was going to say, let's play some Cutler sound before Dr. John Wong comes in, but I didn't realize it was 12:27. So the answer will be no. Don't forget about Quantrill Subaru. Don't forget about Quantrill Cadillac. Don't forget about all the Quantrills. It's unbelievable what they have going for them. The Cadillac, the Subaru, the cast of thousands. It's a beautiful thing. And I've said it many times. We have a couple of cars from Quantrill. We bought both cars before they became a sponsor. I trust them. If you're listening in Louisville, if you're listening in Cincinnati, Nashville's a drive. Come on down to this dealership because they take care of you. The Cadillac, a luxury vehicle without the luxury price. Check them out. The Quantrill family. They've been there forever. They donate a lot of money to charity. They've helped out so many people. And for me, personally, and Judy, they have been absolutely terrific. Quantrill, I trust them. Dr. John Wong coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrill Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no-filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313. Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrill Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together, and the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Down, set, hack. Corn dogs coming in for the blitz.
Rick, what are you doing?
Brent, I'm practicing my snack plays for the next football game.
Well, in that case, Uncle Rick, stop by any Fudge Stop and Shop and pick up 5-hour energy shots, 2 for $4.99, or Uncle Ray's potato chips, 8-ounce bags, 2 for $6.
Don't get sidelined without your supplies this football season. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. Is Dr. John Wong in there? Thumbs up. I don't see his pretty face, but Doc, how are you, my friend?
I am doing fine, and more importantly, you are back. You know how they say you never really miss somebody until they're actually gone? I missed you, and not just on the show, but I missed you sitting by my side at that Ole Miss game, giving me your usual play-by-play commentary. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir. You're going to get it at Eastern Michigan, whether you like it or not.
I can't wait.
They're going to destroy Eastern Michigan. I've talked to a couple of people, and their record is horrendous. I mean,
Yeah, I think they've lost 7 games in a row dating back to last season. And Kentucky really needs to get their style book playbook out because they're going to need style points to reconnect with this fan base.
Well, here's what's going to happen Saturday. I'm going to give you, and this is not much of a prediction. It's going to sound more impressive than it is. And I'm going to do more work in Eastern Michigan. But this is a safe prediction. You're going to think I'm nuts. They're going to
more so than usual, right?
Well, no, you'll decide that, not me. They will have in excess of 500 yards, total yards Saturday.
Yeah, that's not really going overboard. I would thought you might say something like 700 yards.
No, because they've given up 500 yards before. So, and the point is saying that I don't know how many people have looked into Eastern Michigan. It's a bad football team. And I got to tell you, I'm going to say this right now. If Kentucky wins 49-7 and somebody says, well, they're supposed to win 49-7. Okay, let them win 49-7. Let them win 49-7. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And then you have a week off. And if it goes the way I hope it goes, and this is no disrespect to Zach, but I would hope that Cutler gets all the snaps, and then he can get all the snaps with the first team because they'll practice like crazy, and I think that will help tremendously. Do I know that's going to happen? I know nothing. And throw this response. Cutler's dad knows what's going on, and I'm not going to push him. I had to ask because I don't look stupid. I also know his dad well enough that he could dance around it smoothly, and he did. And so,
well, the way he answered it, I think he might have I don't want to put words in your mouth. It's all speculation, but it's fun. It's what we do. I thought he was leaning toward the fact that he knew that Cutler was going to start. I mean, all signs point to Cutler starting and taking the majority of the snaps in that game. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's speculation. I'll just say this. If somebody tells me something off the record, I'm not going to say it. I'm just not. I will keep my word, but I got to tell you, Scott hasn't said anything on or off the record. Well, it would be off the record. I honestly know nothing.
Well, put your Sigmund Freud hat on. Could you read body language? Could you read signs coming through your computer screen?
I have a problem. One little problem with what you're saying. You ready for this?
Sure.
This at times is a compliment. And this is time is knowing when to cut your losses. And I'm not trying to be negative, cut your losses. Stoops at times has been so loyal to kids who are doing it the right way. And I believe Zach has, by the way. I really do. That there's something in the back of my cranium that says maybe he won't let it go. And maybe if they think they have fixed him, and one of the problems was not moving up in the pocket is a really good soundbite. I'm going to give Jeff Drummond, our friend, some credit because he's the one that asked the question. And I like how Bush Hamden said that was very perceptive. If you can fix that, but I got to tell you, this has nothing to do with Cutler. It really doesn't. He's been too slow getting rid of the damn ball. And I get he's like a rookie quarterback here. You're going to be 25 years old. And that over everything has baffled the blank out of me. That why it's taking him so long. Because I got to tell you, you get in an NFL camp next year, and you take this long to get rid of the ball. I mean, the only way they keep you around is to use your arm as an exercise because the teams have done this forever. You have an extra quarterback so the top 2 quarterbacks don't get their arm sores going into the season. I mean, I can't believe how slow he's been. And I said slow on purpose slow as far as getting rid of the damn ball. And I think at times the wideouts have been open. I think at times the wideouts have run bad routes. And I think at the times that wideouts haven't done a good job. But to put it all on the wideouts, I think is not fair.
He looks extremely uncomfortable out there, especially for somebody who has this purported maturity level and experience that he has. I mean, he's no rookie to the SEC. He's played before. He knows what big boy football is. And yet to see his hesitancy out there, to see him retreat half the times when he drops back, I mean, it looks like he wants to be Lamar Jackson without Lamar Jackson's skills. He's out there running around for his life. And, when he starts rolling around and over there to the right side, that bad things are going to happen. We haven't seen anything good happen when he rolls out like that. It's very, very frustrating, disappointing. But I think Stoops is wise. Certainly, you don't want to demoralize the kid. And I would think that with the way college football is nowadays, you'd be very, very wise to keep him in reserve, keep him engaged, and keep him ready to come in because he's only one snap away from being the number one quarterback again.
I would put him on the bench. And if Cutler got hurt, which you hope he doesn't, but quarterbacks are quarterbacks, I have no problem putting him right back in the game. None. Zero. Kaput. And you know what? One, you got to deal with, and two, I have a wild theory, haven't run by anybody. You ready for this? So he's going to be 25 years old, and he's been around college football for what it seems like an eternity. This is not a shot against him. You shouldn't have a 25-year-old playing 1,000 years of college football in college. I think the rule is stupid, not his fault. He's taking advantage of it. God bless, more power to him. I've had this feeling for quite a while, and I've never said this. You can say on the one hand that you have all this experience, so therefore you should be better. Aha. And I've seen this many times with basketball players through the years at Kentucky, especially in the olden days. You become a senior, and there's actually added pressure because you want to play pro ball, and your time is winding down. And I've talked to basketball players about this, going back to the 80s when we could do a lot more media things. Many admitted that there was more pressure because all of a sudden it was right in front of them. It was tangible. Their 4 years was up. They wanted to play pro ball. They're going to be scouts in the fans, and they felt different kind of pressure.
The window is shrinking.
Bingo. And I wonder, and I really, 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 really wonder. I think Zach Calzada is a great kid. I really do. The family, Cuba, his respect for his grandparents. I love it when kids talk about respect for people in their family. You do too. Come on, we know each other really well. And I have a sneaky feeling, I can't prove it, but I'm going to go with my theories that he feels more pressure because he wants to play pro ball. And he has to have a hell of a year here if he wants to play pro ball. And the way he's playing now, he ain't going to get into training camp. Maybe he can play arena football. And again, not everybody who plays quarterback can play pro ball.
Yeah, he was crushed in the post-game media session afterwards. Kudos to UK. They brought him out. He had... granted, it was an emotional game. He had a shoulder hurt, but he had the biggest frowny face on his face that you could imagine. One-word answers, very, very short. It looked like that he was totally, totally demoralized. It surprised me a little bit. I would have expected a little bit more because in contrast, you have somebody like Ty Bryant, who they brought out, just extremely, extremely confident still, very, very optimistic, very, very encouraging. He was telling us, hey, this is just one game. It's a long season. We're going to get this thing turned around. You saw the leadership come out in him. So to see your quarterback, and I know, tough situation, emotion. I don't know what it's like. I never played the game, but I was a little bit surprised at how down he was.
Well, Ty also had 2 interceptions going back
and
to
10 tackles.
And 10 tackles. And this is probably before you were born. I covered the game when Anthony Wadja had 2 interceptions. That was a long time ago.
Before my time.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you were still in diapers, but it was quite a long time ago. And Ty is different. Ty's a great leader, and Zach is kind of a quiet kid. I have teased Cisco that enjoy him this year because he might be going to the NFL. I said this a couple of weeks ago. Hey, don't rush it, don't rush it, don't rush it. It'll go when he's ready, that kind of stuff. But I have already said this. I can see. I'm not starting anything. Somebody say, oh, Cutler, you're pushing me. I'm not pushing anybody out the door. Shut up if you think that. Ty Bryant will do whatever Ty Bryant wants. Besides, he's got to play like this, not 2 picks every game. He's got to play like this the rest of the year. And if he does, maybe he'll help him win games. See, I always look from the positive point of view. That's how I look. If he plays like one of the top 2, 3, 4 safeties in the country and he's a second-round draft choice, he can't stay. I don't want to get into a tangent about that. Enjoy him while he's here. Enjoy any kid while he's here. But Ty Bryant is a great leader, and he's done a little TV with BBN. I think I've explained this. He wants to do TV. He's a natural. And Zach Calzada is never going to do TV. Never do TV when his playing days are over.
Yeah, and if he wants to play quarterback, he'd need to be able to do TV, because even with Devin Leary and Brock Vandegrift, those guys like to talk. They were always jabbing and moving their mouths, and win or lose, they always had something to say. They said it and addressed it always in a positive manner.
Yeah, it looked like, because I saw the clip, the short amount of time that Zach was with the media, and he
wanted to get out of there.
He looked like he was about to sit down in a dentist's office and get root canal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That was the look. Thank you for describing that. That was the exact look. You know, a little bit of not a deer in the headlights, but a deer. I need to get out of here, you know.
Yeah, I don't know this, and I don't know this, but one of the things that UK Sports Information does a very good job, they attempt, and this is something I always appreciated by them, they attempt to have these kids come out when it's pretty obvious. And there's two reasons for that. One, at times they really are trying to take care of the media. And two, I think they get it. If Zach doesn't come out now, whenever he comes out, he's going to be asked about it. So get this crap over with. I mean, really, and although kids don't want to come out, and you understand this now, it's better, and I've told you this for years, it's better if you come out and deal with it, even though you might be asked about it again, but that initial rush of negativity can get you. He looked like he was convinced to come out and talk.
I'll be interested to see how he reacts next time he comes forward, whether he almost tries to overcompensate for that performance. But I know it's not the media's job to try to pump these guys up, but I felt so bad for him. I thought I'd throw him a couple of softballs, and I asked him about his pass to Jamari, and he just kind of shrugged it off, and I can't even remember what he said. It was like a one-word answer. Yeah, it was good, or something like that.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because when I saw that going, Doc, you're a softy. And what do you expect the kid to say?
There's a method to my madness.
Yeah, okay, and that's cool that you did it, and it's all good, seriously. But the same token, too, the kid's, his shoulder's messed up. He's in pain. He's depressed on how he played. And so what is he going to say? Yeah, that was a really nice pass. Buddy.
Well, I was thinking the Alan Cutler route, like when you did with Billy Gillespie. You said, hey, he's probably not going to say anything, but hey, if I throw something out there, who knows what he might say? So you might get a sound bite. You might spur something in his mind that would get him talking in another direction. You might get him to say more than one word, but it just unfortunately didn't work this time.
And two totally different situations. We're not.
I know it's apples and oranges. Hey, by the way, before I forget, congratulations to JJ. I mean, I remember when he was a little kid and putting braces on and things like that. And to see him a married man now, it warms my heart. And I know with you being the family man that you are, it literally had to be nirvana for you.
Not only that, because of not just JJ, but we love Marissa, and her family is great. And they have built such a great circle of friends, plus some people in Lexington, went out, that kind of thing. It was just the vibes on both sides of the family were just unbelievable.
You are tremendously blessed. I mean, with Jenna and Jonathan on the other side, and now the grandkids, people, if they don't know by now, Alan Cutler's life is two things: his show and his family right now. And you've got both of those on just zooming up the board, man.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. So now I look at this, and I'm going to be disappointed, not just for Cutter, but the future of the team if, let's say, Calzada plays half the game, and I'll tell you why. Hang on.
You don't want to split time, right?
I want to split time. And I said this early, a long time ago, that if Cutter, or anybody in Cutter's shoes, let me put it that way, is equal, even a smidgen behind the number one guy like that, without longevity in the program, and you look in the mirror and says, who has more potential? That's what you go with. Now, I'll give you an example against that. You ready?
Sure.
Hal Mummy dumped Dusty Bonner. I think everybody remembers that, right? And the reason why he dumped Dusty Bonner, but that was wrong because he had taken him to a bowl game. And I think it's different circumstances. I really do. Plus, the world's nicest kid, but you got to try to win football games and that kind of stuff. And I love Jared, but he should have waited another year. But how Mummy's thought was, we're going to live with Jared not being good right away, and he still made spectacular plays right away, which was, crazy. I think Jared Lorenzen is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the history of college athletics. I really do. I'm not saying it because he was at Kentucky. His thought was, Mummy was thinking so forward, and I don't know how many, I've said this before, but I don't know how many people know this. He was already thinking about Jared's senior year and gearing up to do something Kentucky hasn't done since about 1842, possibly win the SEC. And he thought by getting him more snaps and making him the starter right away, that would carry over down the line by the time he's a senior. I don't give a crap what anybody says. Mummy told me, so you can take that to the bank. And in the process, he screwed Dusty. He really did. And in his case, I think he did wrong by Dusty because of what Dusty, how popular, the offensive linemen, if you remember, really ticked off because they were all friends with Dusty. And they ended up loving Jared. That's not the point. But it was done wrong. This is different. To me, you got a guy who's a rookie here who's played 1,000 years of college football, and you have Cutler. And you know what? He plays the first 3 games and has a bye, and that's more and more and more and more and more snaps, and he'd be, to me, on another step and another level. And I don't know how Stoops thinks, and everybody's got their own philosophy, but I totally disagree with it. One more, and then I'm going to shut up. I believe Zach was promised the quarterback job. I think he was. I can't prove it, but I think he was promised this quarterback job. Nick Saban would not have promised Zach Calzada the quarterback job. I don't believe Nick would have. I don't think he's done that. I could be delusional and wrong. And I think because he was promised, I think he's trying to keep his word. And at a certain point, I don't give a crap. You got to win games. The guy's on a hot seat. You can't get rid of him at $38 million. You can't get rid of him. You really can't unless they don't win another game. But I look at this and I'm going, I think it's a bad decision.
I do think they promised him also, but I think that was more a reflection of the system. Kentucky has gotten caught into this dog chasing its tail idea that you can go out with the transfer portal, you can just pick out these guys and plug them in and play and they'll be successful. Well, they've tried that for the last 3 years and it hasn't been successful. So in hindsight, I think it was a wrong move, but I think they were enticed by this entire system of being able to get anybody that you want, going in, getting an individual player, targeting them and saying, I'm going to pay you this, come on in and save our program. And it hasn't been the case. As far as Cutler's concerned, I don't know if I'm imagining things, but it does seem like his teammates play harder for him when he's in there than they did for Vandegrift or when they do for Calzada. I don't know whether that's a personality thing, whether that's his style where he's coming in and got this gunslinger mentality, but I think the line blocks harder for him. I think the receivers are going to run harder for him. I'm putting a lot of stock in this turnaround in Cutler taking the reins.
I believe the kids on the team think that Cutler is the best quarterback.
And if they do that, I do think that they'll play harder for him. I think the one thing with the Mummy situation, I think great forward thinker, that sounds just like something that he would do. You know him a lot better than I do and what a genius he was on the offensive side of the ball. But I do think that he probably miscalculated how much of Dusty's teammates really were that pissed off, because I still have ex-football players coming up to me in that era and telling me that, man, they did Dusty wrong.
They did do Dusty wrong. I'm going to amplify your comment. I don't think Mummy gave a blank.
Well, he probably should have, right?
Well, there's a yes or no to that.
Yeah.
Okay, because in the end, in the final analysis, you have to do what you think is best for the TEAM. And if you think it's best for the TEAM, Nick Saban would do the same thing if you thought that was the best for the TEM. So I'm going to actually defend him to say, okay, we'll take the heat. I can't imagine he didn't know how close Dusty was to the offensive lineman and the team. I think he said, this is best for the program. This is best for me. And I want to win the SEC championship when Jared is a senior, and this too shall pass. I think he knew. I think for him not to know would have been irresponsible on Hal Mummy's part. I think he made a tough decision and said, we'll get over this. For example, do you remember when they put in the pitch count and all those pitchers were complaining about the clock, and I immediately said they're going to whine and blank and moan, but before midseason, everybody will shut up because they'll get used to it. Safe prediction. It was really easy to predict, and that's exactly what happened. And so very often a coach will do the same thing, say, okay, this sucks. It's like you win the press conference as a coach. You know, people say, if Stoops leaves here tomorrow, who's going to win the press conference? Well, that's nice. Pope won the press conference in a spectacular form. But if Pope won 12 games last year, who the hell would have cared he won the press conference? Nobody. Winning the press conference is overrated, except in probably Pope's case or Patino's case. It's just honestly overrated. So, you know, he made a decision as an executive, period.
Right. He said, I'm going to balance these short-term gains in favor of, in lieu of the long-term result. He's going to favor the long-term result of the program as opposed to the short-term gains of that particular year.
Well, short-term losses with Dusty not being there, I will strongly disagree. And I think he also thought that Jared could still take him to a bowl game because he had enough people around him. But, you know, you treated him wrong. Let's put it this way. Dusty left. Stud going to Valdosta and was part of the pregame show for a long time.
Yeah.
How many people leave, never say a bad word? And I've talked to Dusty. I'm going to see if I can get him on next week. Never say a bad word and are so liked and walking out the door the right way that after leaving, you come back and do a pregame show on your local network that does the games. I don't know anybody else has. Maybe somebody has. But that shows you Dusty is one of the kindest. You don't like Dusty, you got issues. And the truth is, you don't like Jared, you got issues. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. I think Jared is one of the most beloved players in the history of Kentucky football program. Maybe the most beloved if you have to put him, if you rank him in terms of personalities and connection with the fan base. And I just remember one time he was at one of these remote shows, and it was at the end, and I was walking in and he was walking out. He didn't know me from Adam, but he still made the effort just to say hello. I don't even know why. And I just have to assume that was the way he was with everybody.
Yep. It was like that in high school. Yeah. Seriously. He just had that. You and I should take a trip to go see his son play one Friday night. We need to do that.
Yeah. I'm game.
Yeah. Just to take a little road trip, eat a bunch of popcorn, drink too much stale coffee. Good coffee.
All right. The question, the elephant in the room, are you going to walk back your 6-win bowl prediction based on where Kentucky is right now?
No.
All right. Good for you.
Okay. I was going to
But it doesn't mean we can't change our mind about what direction the program is headed. And it doesn't mean that we don't have concerns about a lot of the aspects of the program too.
Okay. Listen to this. Okay. The offensive line is much better. Not a little better.
Check.
The running back room, those two kids they brought in are close to spectacular.
Yeah, two-headed monster. Absolutely. Fantastic.
Wideouts, I had no clue before the season. They haven't
supposedly talented, athletic, fast.
They said something on the TV broadcast. It's interesting the stuff that a good play-by-play man who's been around for a while, because they get private meetings with the coaches. And I wonder if Bush Hampton said something that he wouldn't say to the media. He would never say this to the local media. And he said that when they were bringing wideouts in.
He only says one thing to the local media, and that's, I've got to look at the tape. That's the only answer you get from him.
You know, it's pretty interesting. He'd be good for a T-shirt.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Sorry I stepped on you, Alan Cutler.
Worth it. That was a better line than I had. No, better lines are better lines. He told Sean McDonough, and it really perked my eyes up when I was watching the game, not live. I watched it Monday night. You got a wedding. I'm not paying attention to what's going on here. Man, did I have to spend a lot of hours catching up, neither here nor there, that when they were bringing wideouts in, there was no thought as to who's going to be the quarterback. That's one. Well, why the hell would any wideout come in? That's one. And two, when you look at it, Stoops, I don't care what he says, he doesn't like to throw the ball. And you can say, oh, that's not true, we throw the ball. No. We're talking about programs that throw the ball. This is not a throwing program. I'm not ripping him. That's what the hell he is. And if I'm a great wideout, why would I come here unless I've said this forever since Stoops has been here. If you're in the state, I get it. Why would somebody from California who's a hell of a receiver ever want to come here? Ever. Now, by the same token, too, look at the two running backs they brought in. Woo, woo, woo. They're going to be in NFL camps. I'm not saying they're going to make it. I'm not saying they're going to be drafted. There's too much of the season left to go. And right now, if they're going to be drafted, it'd be low because that's what running backs do, and they don't have the burning speed to be top, that kind of stuff. But they are both potential NFL players. When you say you can say that about everybody, no, I can't. So that's BS. And so, that's two studly runners. And I really, really like the line. And so when I was looking at the game, they actually hit really hard. That's being overlooked. They hit. They really were hitting like a Stoops teams that won a lot of games. I like their aggressiveness. I like how they hit, and that's being overlooked. So you know what? I'm not saying they're going to clean this whole passing game up. I'm open-minded that they can more so than most people.
Did you watch the game in its entirety? I know a lot of times when you watch a replay, you've got it clipped and you're just watching the active plays. But
not Kentucky. So this is what I did. I do it with the Boise State and that kind of stuff. This is what I did. How many were there? Was it 38? There were 38 highlight clips. I watched that, and then I watched the entire game.
So you heard it. Of course, I didn't hear any of this firsthand. It was all secondhand. But you heard Sean McDonough openly mock Kentucky's coaching staff. Was that true?
Yes.
That's embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah. And I should have put the time down and asked Jimmy to get it. Look, I've watched.
Yeah, I want to hear that one.
I didn't write the time down, so that's my bad. It was in the first half and the second quarter when they couldn't get the guys on the field, that kind of thing. I can't remember, and I've watched McDonough a lot. He's really good, and I think he's been overlooked to maybe do a Super Bowl. And his dad was one of the great NFL writers of all time. I don't know if you remember him. Will McDonough, his dad, was probably the most respected NFL writer of his time. I don't think there was a number two. Okay, and I have a ton of respect for Sean. I don't know him, a ton of respect. And it was as big of a rip job as I've ever heard him do on a coaching staff. Ever.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow.
Ever. And it's in my notes, and I'm glad you brought that up. And you know what? Now you got me mad at myself for not getting that, asking Jimmy to get that audio. Let me repeat, ever.
It's just not a good look. I mean, certainly that part of the ball game, right at the end of the first half, point wise, I mean, it didn't end up mattering, but it really directed the entire scope of strategy throughout the rest of the game. I mean, you end up chasing points. If you had gotten those 3 points, I think it would have been 17-16. And it would have changed the entire scope of how the teams approached the second half. And at the end, Kentucky just ended up chasing those points forever and ever. And it resulted in a lot of the decisions that Stoops ended up making.
How about that pass interference late in the game that was as obvious as the nose on my face that they didn't call, that would have given Kentucky a first down and maybe a field goal at worst?
Would have, could have, and should have. That's the story of Kentucky's life. I'm disappointed, but
I don't give a crap.
They should have won that game, Alan.
You're right, but I don't give a crap if it's Kentucky or Arkansas or Alabama. When it's so obvious without looking at a replay that is a pass interference, those referees sucked. And I got to tell you the truth. Had Kentucky won the game on that, and that was a big play, you know what I'd be saying? I'd be saying Kentucky was lucky as you know what, because that was a horse puck call. I would say it against the other team. I would. You know me. That was, and in that point in time, oh my gosh, it was horrendous. There were two really bad calls. I'm not saying that's why Kentucky lost, but that would have been a completion when I say completion, moving the chains, I still consider that a completion, even though it doesn't go on your record. Especially, it's one thing if you can't get the ball and they call it and that kind of stuff. It was past horrendous. It was awful. So they had chances to win, and they should have won the damn game. And
yeah, the reason they lost were those communication issues that cost them those timeouts in the first half. That's what lost them the game. And that's why it's so frustrating, because all this clock management, communication, that's been the bugaboo throughout Stoops' tenure. And I think it's coming back to bite him in the butt.
I agree. And I was going to do this with Van. I'm going to say this real quick. You respond, and then I got to go because I'm late with Van. Because I tease this on about the 8 different ways I tease the show. No excuse for the delay of game penalties. Matter of fact, I wonder if there's another college football team last week who had 3 like that. I bet there wasn't. But and it's still no excuse. But you know why that happened? I don't think anybody has talked about this. Do you know why that really happened?
Why?
I'll tell you why. I'm being very careful how I say this. I'm going to say it to Van Hiles in a couple of minutes. Bush Hamden had such little confidence in his wide receivers getting open that he was using some gimmicks, which might have been smart had the players been able to do it, and you never ask your players to do something they can't do. Gimmicks, to put 3 guys together and that kind of stuff to help them get open, because he didn't have the confidence that they would get open against Ole Miss's DBs. That was because a coaching staff had a lack of confidence in his wideouts, and I don't give a crap what anybody says. Don't give a crap. I've done this too long. You don't use a gimmick like that unless you think you need the gimmick. And he knows that you use that gimmick, and I don't know how much they've practiced it. I'm not going to guess. I have no idea. It looked like they hadn't practiced it until last week. I don't know. When you have a gimmick, because you need to use a gimmick, because you don't have confidence that your wideouts can get open, that's a huge statement. Now, they still should be able to handle it. That was a gimmick. That was a gimmick. That was a gimmick. And these wideouts have not proven to Bush Hamden that they're good enough. I don't give a crap what anybody says.
Well, those operational issues need to be determined during the course of game week preparation, not in the heat of battle like that.
No, I'm sure
it all flows uphill. It all stops with Stoops.
Yes, I'm sure they practice it. I don't doubt that for a second. He looked at film, obviously, and said, "Their guys are quicker than our guys. I got to help them out."
But didn't even Stoops say at halftime that he told the offensive coaches, "We got to stop this crap"?
Yes. Yeah, because of all the penalties. Yeah, I don't blame him. That's his job. You got a last comment? I'll say goodbye and thank you for your kind words.
No, I can't wait to see what Van's going to say. He's the expert on all of this, so we'll wait for the gospel of truth here.
Well, hopefully he's in the pad so he heard what I said. If not, don't you think that's a nice thing to lead with? Bush Hamden's lack of confidence. Matter of fact, he said a couple weeks ago, I don't remember which the last 2 or 3 times before the season started, that he didn't know what to expect from his wideouts.
I think that lack of confidence is only matched by the fan base's lack of confidence in Bush Hamden himself now. He needs to kind of get this thing turned around. I'm not saying he won't, but now's a chance. Style points. Get out that playbook. Let's go 53-3.
Okay, so if you don't think you have wideouts, it's tough to win the SEC.
You can't do it.
Is that his fault?
Well, like I said, everything flows uphill.
Okay, I'm not saving the guy, but I think he's smarter than people think. That's just me. It's 1:04. Got to go. Appreciate your friendship big time. Give a real quick plug for what you're plugging right now. Besides,
Kyle Macy is doing a statewide tour. He's going around and promoting the book that Kyle and I did, that I co-wrote with him, called From the Rafters of Rups. So be on the lookout. We're posting a bunch of stuff on social media. We went on the media circuit earlier this week. So dates will be announced then, and just hope that the fans show up. Meet Kyle Macy.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Thanks, Alan. We'll talk to you later.
Oh, no. Remember to get your earplugs, because I'm going to be sitting next to you, sat out in East Kentucky, drumming your ear.
I can't wait. Alan Cutler, he's back.
Thanks, Doc. Talk to you, brother. Dr. John Wong. He can needle me you like it when he needles me, don't you?
Yeah, I think he's the expert needler.
Well, he knows me better than anybody else who does the show.
Yeah, like you guys have said, writing down, sitting at a kitchen table, writing a whole book together. He knows you in and out. He knows all the buttons to push.
He wrote it. I had libbed the book.
Yeah.
It was full. Which some people, you didn't really do that, did you? Yeah, that's how we did it. Hi, this is Alan Cutler, as I like to say, right? Great deal. Subaru. The Outback, is special. So check this out. 0%, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9. What a deal. 0% interest on the Outback for 36 months. Drive in from Nashville. Drive in from Cincinnati. Drive in from Louisville, where you folks are listening to the show. Appreciate you. Don't forget about the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru. And they promise to get to the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks. Van Hiles, rapidly rising star. Van Hiles coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM. Thank you to Scott Boley. Thank you to Dr. John Wong. And I'll say an early thank you to Van Hiles coming up next. Alan Cutler. Gosh, I didn't miss the show when you're doing family stuff, but I missed it. Especially this morning. I woke up, I was juiced. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrill Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no-filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Down, set, hack. Corn dogs coming in for the blitz.
Rick, what are you doing?
Brent, I'm practicing my snack plays for the next football game.
Well, in that case, Uncle Rick, stop by any Clark Stop and Shop and pick up assorted Reese's king-size candy bars, 2 for $4, and Sour Patch or Swedish Fish peg bags, 2 for $6.
Don't get sidelined without your supplies this football season. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrill Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quattro family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together, and the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
W223CV Lexington. ESPN Sports Radio 1300 and 92.5. WLXG Lexington and LM Communications Broadcasting Station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
Welcome back. Appreciate Scott Boley joining us tremendously. Appreciate my partner in Cut to the Chase, Dr. John Wong, joining us. And now I think he's actually trimmed his beard to look. You haven't? Oh, man. I tell you what. Now you're going to make me compliment you, and you know how that hurts. Your beard looks really good today. So I thought because you're becoming this huge podcast star and you got your own podcast and you're a man like crazy, that maybe you were going to a stylist or something, because I appreciate you. First of all, I love our conversations, but I appreciate you doing my show without me going through your agent. I could see some days say, you want Van? Call Murray Hill 77500 and Joe Gillespie will be the person who sets you up. But you never big time me, even though you've become big. And I appreciate your knowledge and your time. Are you sure you're not lying to me? Your beard looks really good. Or do I need to put my glasses on?
That's probably it. I might have moisturized a little bit better since last time. I don't know. Maybe gluing it up a little bit. But not, nothing crazy.
You don't laugh with anybody else you do shows with like this, do you?
Oh no, Mr. Cutler. Only on the Alan Cutler Show. Visit us on ESPN Radio 1300 on YouTube. We have face for radio. So if you want to see two faces for radio, go look at us on YouTube.
You know what? We're going to use that as a promo. You got a future in it. Seriously, you did that without a script. You nailed that sucker.
It's easy when you talk. Look, Mr. Cutler, I want people, all walks of life, when you speak the truth, it's easy to talk. When you have to try to merge truth and lies together, that's when you get in trouble. When you talk your truth, it makes life easier.
Which is what I do, and you know that because I can't fool you.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you're too smart. If I changed, you would first of all, I'm not going to, and you know that, but you would smell it, boom, instantly. You'd call me out in 2 seconds.
Exactly.
And you should.
And same here.
I hope you never will, but you would, and it's one of the things I respect about you. Okay, let's move on. I want to throw this at you.
Mm-hmm. Whoa! Now before you throw it, remember I'm a DB. We don't catch stuff very well. That's why we defensive backs. Because
hey, all right, I'll start with that. Yeah, I was very disappointed in something that's not being talked about.
Ooh.
How the speed they could spin and run right by these guys, and the Yaks yards after catch. I was very disappointed in the lack of tackling. I was very disappointed in the spacing in between. I was very disappointed in the lack of speed. These guys are supposed to be fast. I was very disappointed how the guy would spin and go down the sidelines. And they kept on doing the same move, which is smart because it kept on working. I expected the DBs to do a better job of stopping those short passes that turn into long passes. It's not being talked about. I am, because nobody else will, because everybody's talking about the quarterback, and I get that, and the other issues like, can you snap the ball, damn it, on time, which we're going to get into in a second. But, you're a DB, and that was number 2 in my head of my list. But since you brought it up, the Yaks sucked.
It's disheartening for, well, I guess they didn't have Waller play this week, but last year that was the reason why they held them to 17 points. See, people don't understand is that you can't cover every inch of 53 and a third by a 120-yard triangle. It's impossible. You cannot cover every inch of the turf. But one thing you have to do, and that's what I talked about last week, if we make Ole Miss grind out drives to score, they will make a mistake. And when you give up big plays, unlike we did last year, and sometimes as a DB coach, I can really accept big plays when they out-athlete you. Like if you throw up a deep ball, you're there, and the guy just jumps over you and makes a great catch or a diving catch or whatever it is, I can accept that as a former DB. What I can't accept is we're going to allow them to throw 5 yards because most teams don't want to throw 5 yards. We're going to allow them to throw 5-yard hitches, but we are going to tackle them every time. And unfortunately this year, lack of trust, lack of discipline, lack of will is that turn the guy inside. I don't want to get into the weeds, but I'm going to get into the weeds. From the bottom of the numbers to the sideline is 7 yards. If you have a big defensive lineman who's retracing back to help you on a tackle, if you make him run 7 more yards because you made him go outside to the sideline, I am upset as a defensive lineman. Turn him inside so I can if I'm going to run that forward, let me touch him, right? If you can't tackle him, let me touch him. Turn him inside to all your help. And this year, repeatedly, we did not let that happen. And that's a problem because all DBs have to do is take up the space, make them turn inside. You got safeties, you got linemen, you got linebackers who are coming with bad intentions. If you miss the tackle, they will wipe it up. When you allow them to go to the sideline, there's no one else out there.
You agree with me?
Oh, I've said that is the reason why we lost the game. That's because the sole reason.
With all the mistakes that Kentucky made, if those plays were shorter, they wouldn't have moved the sticks. They would have had to grind it out more. And, that lefty quarterback, who I think is going to be a stud with time.
With time.
With time. I mean, he's smarter than probably 98% of the quarterbacks in college football. He's a really smart kid. He's got the arm, he's got the touch, whatever. He just hasn't played enough. I think he's going to be a stud. And if I'm Ole Miss, and I believe in this, if something works, keep on doing it till they stop you. I wouldn't be surprised if the wideout coaches keep on spinning out. Once you get a step, they're not fast enough. So you push them inside, exactly what you said. So maybe a defensive end can smack the crap out of a wide receiver. And then guess what? That hurts. That hurts. But they kept on doing the same thing over. And you know what it reminded me of when I was a kid watching the Green Bay Packers? It was sweep left before your time. Sweep left and sweep right. Mm-hmm. And the defender was like, we knew what was coming. We couldn't stop it. Because Vince Lombardi had them and with the great Bar Star days when they were the best team in the NFL for about a 4-year period, he kept on using the same play over and over because you couldn't stop it. They didn't give a damn if you knew it was coming because they ran it so often. Either Fuzzy Thurston was a guard on one side, Jerry Kramer on the other side. I remember the two starting guards back in 1961. Crazy, huh? But I do. And they're going, stop us. Well, guess what Ole Miss did? They Green Bay Packered the Kentucky Wildcats, and I was disappointed that Brad White didn't make an adjustment.
There is no adjustment that you can make off of that.
I say, you can't then play the wide receiver a little bit angled so he has to go back inside? That's what you just said.
But here's the deal, Mr. Cutler. I'm going through this with coaching players now, and I did it when I was being at Kentucky coaching, even NFL. A coach can tell you he can tell you exactly what to do, but it's on you on game day to do that.
I buy
those
that.
guys. And here's the thing, and this is why, and this is what I look at things like that when I start assessing coaching. They did it some of the time. So if you can do it some of the time, you can do it all the time. I just remember a play right now where Terry Nichols on our sideline made where the receiver caught it, he knocked the ball out, incomplete. It's the exact same alignment, exact same action. Everything was the same, except his technique and his approach to the ball. I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna really make you mad, and it's Wednesday, Mr. Cutler. You bring it back. All this back up. You're bringing it back up. Look, I want people to understand. Austin Simmons completed 54% of his passes. 54%, which is god-awful in the Lane Kiffin offense.
Agree.
Half of his yards was on yak.
I know that. I actually thought it was more.
Half of the yards was because of run after the catch. If we reduce that to a quarter, we win the game at least by 3 points.
You're not upsetting me.
It's upsetting to me because I've calmed down, Mr. Cutler. I have pushed this game aside, and now you're going to call me on a Wednesday and make me, I'm going to regurgitating all this stuff again. It's making me upset.
You're mad at me for getting you upset?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was calm. Now my wife's going to ask me, why are you yelling? I'll be like, Mr. Cutler, it's his fault.
You know what you did? You got my blood pressure up too. So you get a little win there, pal. Yeah, I thought the Axe was the most underrated part of the game. And not being a DB, aren't you impressed that I pointed that out?
Oh, no. Hey, football, Mr. Cutler, you have seen the era of leather helmets, solo bar across the helmet, big show. So you've seen all the eras. Of course you know football.
Number 2 on my list.
Well, that's number 1 because that was number 2.
Well, you're right. Excuse me. Number 2 now. Number 1.
Okay.
Excuse me, man. You're right. You don't let me sneak by in anything. Matter of fact, when you're correcting me, I'm going, "What's he talking about?" And then I went, my other side of my brain said, "Shut up, Cutler. He's right." Bush Hamden had no confidence in his wide receivers. Hang on. Because they used gimmicks that he admitted, put the 3 wideouts together to help them get open. You only do that when you think, and he said this, when you think you need to help your wideouts get open. Before the season, when asked about who's the number 1 guy, he says, I don't know what to expect. It was the nicest way that he could say, I got no clue what the hell's going on with my wideouts. He can't say that. And he told Sean McDonough, which I thought was fascinating, because you're going to tell the network TV guys different things than you'll tell the local media. It almost as if like it was an excuse. When they were bringing wideouts in, he said, nobody knew who the quarterback was. How are you going to bring a wideout in? I thought it was a great point. The other part is, if I'm a really good wideout from California, why the hell would I come to Kentucky?
You're not.
You're not. And by the way, they brought in 2 Studley transfer running backs. So compliment Stoops and the staff for doing that, because he's a running back coach. He doesn't want to throw the ball. So unless you have a Tim Couch, or maybe it's Cutter Bowley turning into a Tim Couch light. I'm not ready to call Cutter Bowley Tim Couch. Let's not get silly now. But suppose he turns into a great UK quarterback. Okay, it might be more enticing. You can get a great wideout from Kentucky, but you're not going to get a great wideout across the country because they don't throw the ball. I don't give a crap what Stoops says when I want more balance. You want to go to a place where you're going to throw 40 times a game. That's just the way it is. Or Alabama, when you know you get more one-on-ones because the running backs are so good. The point is this. One of the reasons the wideouts haven't been good is because they haven't been able to recruit better wideouts. And I've been saying that for years. But let's go back to my original point. I'm sure they practice it during the week. Bush Hamden's a smart guy. I think he's smarter than people realize. And you can't game plan something if you have no passing attack. So he said, my guys can't get open against Ole Miss looking at the tape. That's what he said. And it's his job, J-O-B, to find the best ways to get his kids open. That's his J-O-B. So he comes up with all these gimmicks. Yet his players, they either didn't drum it up enough, or they asked the kids to do something they can't do. But it was a fire drill, not knowing what the hell's going on. You can't snap the ball. Guys are going in and out. Calzada was even going, what the blank is going on? And you ask kids to do something they couldn't do, because I think he looked at it and said, you're not good enough to do it. So I'm going to have to help you by adjusting. And then Stoops says at the half, stop this crap, stop this crap, stop this crap, play it straight up because we've had too many penalties. You can't disagree with a word of that.
I'm gonna say it another way.
Okay.
Yes. I'm gonna say this is that
you say it another way. You agree with me that he did this to help his wide receivers, because you only do it if you don't think they're good enough to play straight up.
Right, yes. And that's actually over half of offensive coordinators. Like, there's only a handful of teams that I can my dude is just better than your dude. Like, there are not that many dude offenses in this country. Now, we have to rely even more, and that's why it comes to this. When you have a unit that doesn't have a star, and Bush Hamden, as you said, I'm going to say this. He's too smart for his own good. And what I mean by that is he thinks he can get into the perfect play more often than not. And there's no such thing as a perfect play. The reason why you change personnel is to try to get in the perfect play. Because what happens is, as a coordinator, you have analytics and you have history. You have history of what that defensive coordinator is going to call on 2nd and 8 on the left hash. You have that history. So if you know he's going to call, well, let me figure out what play that might work against that defense he loves to call on 2nd and 8. We don't have that. We don't have that time. And he's trying to be too perfect. He's trying to, for example, the timeout, I think it's the second timeout, when we are on the plus 15 or something. 8 seconds on the clock, he tries to make a check. It's too late, coach. Live with the call that you made. When you do that check at 8 seconds, you're not going to get the playoff. I don't care if that's Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. He's not going to get the playoff in 8 seconds to go to the line, check, blah, 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 get back into his shotgun position and snap the ball. It's impossible. So why even in your mind think I need to check it now? Because he's trying to be perfect. Because we don't have dudes on this team that can win on the perimeter. So it's a problem. It's also a problem with this, is sometimes you are too complicated. Sometimes your tags, as for example, what tags are is a tag is to give each position what they're supposed to do on each play. Sometimes your tags can be complicated. The reason why I say that, because I think it's the first time out he called, or the last time on the first half, when Boyer lined up where he was supposed to end up being, and didn't understand he needed to line up somewhere else to get to that spot. Like, that kind of stuff is It's on coaching because you don't realize that these guys are not able to do it when the lights are on. Like sometimes you're doing too much. It's not your fault that the players don't know where to line up and they don't know the playbook, but it is your fault when you can't identify that maybe we putting too much on these guys.
Agree. You just amplified what I said.
That's why I said a little different.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. You know, I really like how you said that he's too smart for his own good. I agree with that. Here's my problem with that. If you're too smart for your own good, you're not understanding the capabilities of your players. I'm going to assume the obvious that when they worked on this during the week, they did a good job.
Facts.
Otherwise, he would have eliminated that. The guy's too smart. Every coach would.
Exactly.
But then when the lights go on and you're hearing the crowd go crazy, the muscle memory of what you're supposed to do is not there yet. And so I think he should have quit on it earlier. I don't know if it's being stubborn or he talked to his kids and they said they had it. I can't answer that. But after the first time, I'd have negated it because was there another team in America that had 3 penalties like that in a game this year? Probably not, but I don't know, and I'm not going to do the research. It like never happens. I'm not saying it's never happened in the history of football or anything like that. I'm not going to go to that point, but it is so obtuse. And here's the other thing. Mentally speaking, you're deflating the team on top of your fans when that happens. So they had to overcome that as well and had a pass interference call been made and maybe Cutler hit a pass or two.
Oh.
Kentucky still could have won the game. And I'm not blaming Cutler for anything because not at all. But I mean, the fact that he got close to completing those two is incredible. Plus, Zach could have easily had another interception when he threw the ball up for grabs in the end zone. Which was, I thought, one of the worst plays of the game. In other words, nobody remembers the play because it wasn't an interception. But I'm thinking, what the hell is he thinking? You know, it's one thing to have receivers, go up and make a catch. If it's one-on-one, okay, they're supposed to make the catch, and if it doesn't happen. They were not one. They were not two. There were 3 DBs in the area. I thought it was the top 3 worst plays Zach did, and nobody's talking about it. That's like a desperation play. Like, I'm just going to throw it in the end zone. I thought it was awful. That makes me not trust a quarterback. It's one thing if you get a pick. You make a bad throw or it's a bad probability, right? This wasn't a bad probability. This was horrendous probability. That was a 50-50 ball with 3 DBs around that easily could have been picked off. It was that play itself, the way Zach is playing, would consider me taking him out of the game. And nobody's talking about that play. When I saw him going, what is it? I try to go, what the hell is he thinking? That was like a Hail Mary with 3 guys around. Now, if there's 10 seconds left in the game, you throw the ball.
You still don't throw it because you get the field goal. There are 3 things.
10 seconds to go in the game, you got to win.
Oh, at the end of the game. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But you just kick the field goal.
Yeah, kick the field goal. There are 3 moments that stick in my mind. I don't want to say, let's say moments. Why we lost the game. We already talked about the yak yards. Number 2 was, even with all the dysfunction and all the stuff that people are talking about with the disorganization and the mismanagement of the clock, even with all that, I'm going to tell y'all, the first half execution was perfect until Jeremy Maclin ran out of bounds in field goal range with 13 seconds, and we couldn't get the play off after we got, like, all the franticness was over. Clock stops. We got 40 seconds to come up with a play, and we cannot run a play after the clock stopped when we were frantically did well. But now the clock stopped, that one. The next play, if Cutter Bowley hits Willie Rodriguez in the corner of the end zone on, I don't know, is it the second pass? If he connects with that, we win the game. I promise you. We win the game. If he connects with that, The stadium goes wild. The defense gets amped up again because they licking their wounds because they gave up a touchdown when they shouldn't to let Ole Miss go up. And now, whoa, you giving us another life? If he would have connected that, we win the game.
Now I'll go one more. I think Zach was still in the game. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
The pass interference that wasn't called, that was obvious as the nose on my face. Wasn't Zach the quarterback?
On Caddis? Yes.
Yes.
I don't think it was a PI, Mr. Cutler.
Are you crazy?
Remember, I'm a DB. I don't think it was timed up perfect.
No. Shame on you.
You timed up perfect.
I've never disagreed with you more in all our
You
conversations.
can't call that one. You can't call that. Now you can't call it because it's on our sideline.
You
call it because it's on our sideline.
Are a biased, bigoted defensive back, and I'm using those words on purpose. That's the flip. And if anybody's joining us for the first time, you have to understand our relationship. And Van's laughing.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
You need to repeat you were, and you know I love you, right? You know, I respect the hell out of you. You do know that, and you're super smart. You're becoming a media star, and I love all that. But you are a biased, bigoted DB coach and former player, and I will not back down from that.
So I'm gonna say this. No. I'm not changing. I'm gonna say this.
You know what this is? Two stubborn old goats.
The doggone slow motion camera makes things where if you slow it down to 1,000 times slow, it's obvious. Did he make contact slightly before the ball went there? Of course. But when it's live, if this was in the 1900s, that's definitely not a pass interference because he was a beat early. It wasn't like he tackled him 2 seconds before the ball was there. He made slight contact before the ball was there, and so you can slow it down to a slow motion, and it's like, yeah, he hit his arm before the. Come on, but in fast time, it was
He hit his arm, and I'll tell you what, it was a smart move by the DB. He was coached to do that.
It was perfect.
I don't blame him for doing that, but if you physically disrupt the wide receiver in any form, and it's early, and a referee should have the common sense to see that, then you take out that little hanky and throw it.
Oh, these prima donna wide receivers who get all the glory in. Come on, man. I can't touch him a split second for the ball. Stop it. They get everything anyway.
That's not the rule. Accept the rule the way it is. Shame on you. You're exposing your bias.
That was simultaneous. That was simultaneous contact. That was not. I'm not gonna call that one. I'm not. Now now let's say it's even. What the thing I didn't like was the OPI on, was it Rodriguez or Caddis early? That wasn't OPI on that. That's just a no call. It was early in the first quarter.
Yeah. I kind of went on that one.
That one, come on. Let these guys play. He didn't extend too far. That was not OPI.
You know what? You're like a quarterback who gets touched with a hanky and wants a flag thrown.
No, I wasn't that way. I like hit me. Get me involved in the game even more. If you hit me, now I'm mad. Now I'm extra focused. Okay.
I could see that.
She shot me. Okay. That's the wrong thing to do.
Interpreted what I was saying, which is if you were quarterback, you would be biased and bigoted to get the call that particular way. Protect quarterbacks like you're protecting DBs. That's okay. So safe prediction. And this is really a silly prediction. They're going to get over 500 yards of total offense because Eastern Michigan stinks, and they've given up over 500 yards before this season. They stink. They really stink. And so this is why you start Cutler. Let him get all the snaps during the game. Then you have the bye week. And then he takes all the snaps, even if he's resting the starters the following week. And then he gets all the first string snaps the week after. I believe Zach was promised the job. And I got another thing about Zach in a second, but I want to go to this first. Just play Cutler. Play Cutler because you have a victory. The more snaps he gets, the better he gets. He says he now knows where to tell guys to go because he understands the playbook that well. And it's who has the most potential. It's as obvious as the nose on your face and mine.
Look, I've said this week. This is Cutler's perfect opportunity to sneak into Joe Craft Center, get the master key from Tom Kalinowski, go to Zach Calzada's cubbyhole, open it up, and take the keys to the program. This is the perfect spot for him. If he can't do it now, he can't do it at all. Because
Stoops has got to let him though.
No. What I'm telling you right now is it is no way in, you know what? Too bad we're on FCC grounds. It is no way with everything that's happening that Cutler could not and should not take this from Zach right now. I know we were paying Zach X amount of NIL dollars. I don't know what it is. I know he came here to be the starter. Totally get it. You had your chance. And it's not, are all the problems his fault? No.
No.
A lot of them is because when I look at the games, he is missing wide open receivers. And we can't do that anymore. We can't do the Brock Vandegrift thing again. If Cutler is right now better than him, and we had this conversation before the season, if they're tied, Zach gets the start. So Zach got the start. Zach has not played well. Zach has more interceptions than touchdowns. This is not the time. Off a 4-8 season, we can't wait. If Cutler Bowley, and he should, if Cutler Bowley starts this week, and the operations and the procedures and the progression of this offense is efficient and it's obvious, you cannot go back to Zach. I'm sorry, Zach. I know you have aspirations, but right now, coming off a 4-8 season, we didn't hit on all cylinders these first two games. I know it's a short time limit, but we can't wait on you to get better. If this guy behind you, who is in the second year in the offense, does what I think he can do, not saying he's going to be perfect, not saying he's not going to make mistakes, but if he comes in here this week and runs an efficient operation, he is the starter for the rest of the season.
The only thing I disagree with you on, if they were tied preseason, then you go with Cutler because he has more potential. The other thing is, and I think I talked to you about this, that's a philosophical thing. That's not me right, wrong, even though you're wrong. I can't resist, Van, like you can't resist with me. I'd apologize, but it would be extremely insincere.
That's fair.
It's fair. I made a big deal of this at the time. When Stoops did his baloney competition, you can't compete unless each guy's getting 50% of the reps with the first team. If you're not doing it, I don't care what school, where, it's not a competition. You're saying this to make feel good. Yeah. It was baloney, and I respect Stoops, but I lost a little respect because he thinks I'm not smart enough to figure that out. Now, if you go 50-50 reps with the first team, 50-50 reps with the second team, at a certain point, you got to make a decision. That's life. I get that. Whether I like the decision or not, it's not for me. I'm not there. But it's disingenuous to say that was a competition. And I'm not backing down for it. If Mark comes on this show and I ask him that, which he's not coming on the show, he won't like me asking the question, and that's okay. It's disingenuous. And coaches can be disingenuous, period. It would make me as a player not trust him. You agree with that?
Yeah, that's to a point, because here's my definition of why that happened, and my definition of why if they were tied. If they were tied and we won 8 games last year, the tie goes to Cutler. But since we won 4 games last year, the tie has to go to the guy with the more experience and more whom we know what to expect from him.
Expect from Zach. Come on.
The competition wise is Zach he came in this program new and had to develop some type of synergy to gel with the unit more than Cutler. So that's why he got the lion's share, because he wasn't here last year. I don't think Cutler not getting first reps is going to be the end of it's going to be detrimental, because he's played with those guys last year.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm saying don't tell me it's a competition when you're not taking
it wasn't a competition. So it wasn't a competition.
And it's disingenuous.
I mean, this is what I would say. It was a competition.
If the backup quarterback is getting, 20 or 25% of the snaps, and that's with the backups, and you're not getting half the snaps on the first team, it's BS.
If Zach Calzada, the competition is this. I'm going to give Zach the opportunity. If he pees down his leg, Cutler's coming in. I got to give him a chance, right? I got to give him a chance.
Don't say it's a competition then. Be honest about it. I'm sorry. I'm for honesty.
No, from a player standpoint, I still see it
too smart.
as a competition.
It's too smart. All right, we're gonna just disagree with that. And rarely do I say you're wrong.
Well, I was right on that one.
No, you weren't.
I got the most points on that argument.
No,
I got 2 and you got 1 point. So I'm ahead.
You know what? You're like a bad ref who can't see a.
Well, I just docked your point. I'm 2-0 now.
Right end. That's like a ref missing a pass interference because you're a biased former DB, and you're so smart too. That gets me. Okay, I'm gonna be serious now for a second. Okay. I learned this in the 80s that there were basketball players. This is serious now. This is not our kidding around.
Okay.
There were basketball players in the 80s that for part of their senior season were actually worse because the clock was ticking. They wanted to go to the NBA, and they felt a different kind of pressure that they had to perform. I don't know this, but I have felt this for quite some time, and I said it today for the first time. I don't know this kid. Actually, I respect tremendously what he thinks about his grandparents coming here from Cuba, all that kind. I love stories like that where family really means something. I respect it tremendously. It makes me want to root for the kid, but I've been rooting for Cutter really hard for a lot of reasons that I've explained, but that's neither here. Got 2 really good kids, basically is what it is. He's going to be 25. He's played college football since Abe Lincoln was president. This is his last chance. He really has to make quick decisions, and he can't make a decision when a guy is open. I suspect that he is feeling the pressure of that last year that I learned in the 1980s. I felt this for a while. I really have, and there's nothing mean. There's nothing disrespectful for where I'm coming from, but you've played quarterback too long to hold onto the ball. You've played quarterback too long not to step up in the pocket and throw. You've played quarterback too long not to make that quick decision to roll out. We're actually, he's thrown some nice passes rolling out if he rolls out early, so he has space. He's actually has made some nice throws that way, and I actually think they should roll him out some more if he has to play, where it's the designed rollout so he leaves the pocket early enough that he can still be calm throwing on the run. He's thrown some nice passes that way. It's getting overlooked, but I think he's feeling the pressure of, I've been in college football for 1,000 years. I have another chance. This is my last chance. I'm old for somebody trying to get to the NFL, so I better be really good, and I have to be so perfect he can't make a damn decision.
Yeah, I'm teetering on that and level of comfort in the system.
Well, I'm sure that the system, but give me a yes. Yeah. Guy's open, the guy's open. You agree or disagree?
See, and that's it. See, now that's the hard part, Mr. Cutler, is that muscle memory is muscle memory. Like, I don't care what system you run, what scheme you're in. When you see guy open, you normally throw him the ball. Like it's unfathomably that he can't make that, like, muscle memory. He's done it many times. I've seen him do it. And why? I mean, I can remember 2 plays like there. On one play, Bush schemed 3 guys open in the red zone, and he passed it to neither and took a sack. Like, and he's looking at him. It's something like, I don't like people, even myself, I have done in the past, where if the quarterback's reading the left side of the offense, and I'm like, well, the guy on the right is wide open. Well, you can't do that because that's not where his focus is. He's reading the left side. Well, these plays, he's reading the side, and guys are right in front of him, and he's not throwing the ball. I don't think that's him pressing. I don't think that's him being uncomfortable. I don't know what it is. I don't know what is the brain cramp of a quarterback who has played as many snaps as he has played to not throw the ball. Because as a quarterback, you're not looking at your guys. You're not. You're not looking at your receivers. You're looking at the defensive player and seeing if he's if he in the curl or he's in the flat. If he's not in the curl, I'm going to throw the flat. If he expands to the flat, I'm going to throw the curl. Like those are some of the plays that he's missing on, and I can't call it. Is it the Kentucky fog? I don't know. But that has nothing to do with him being tight. It has nothing to do with him having no comfort in the system, because some of these concepts are elementary, and he's still not letting the ball rip.
You going to be disappointed if Cutler doesn't start?
I will be. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm one of these guys who is big on when you're a starter, you have to completely lose your spot. After last year, I would be disappointed if Cutler doesn't start the 10 next games.
If Cutler?
Cutter, I'm sorry. I would definitely be disappointed if you don't start.
I couldn't even take that properly.
If Cutter Bowley does not start the next game and start the rest of the season, because if he starts this game and doesn't start the next game, that means he didn't play well. There's no other reason for him not to start the next game, other than he just totally stunk. If he can't play well against Eastern Michigan and get some confidence to that coaching staff that they can trust him, he will not ever start here. Because this is Alan, there are certain situations in life where God gives you the perfect scenario for you to succeed, and that's either for you to take the bull by the horn or let him stab you in the stomach. It's either one, because his is perfect. He's got Eastern Michigan, a bye week, South Carolina. You couldn't script it better than this situation for him.
They could be 3-1.
And that's all I asked for.
They could be 3-2 when you put in the next 3 games.
And that's all. Look, all I asked for the first quarter of the season to be 3-1. I thought it'd be winning Ole Miss and losing at South Carolina. Let's just flip them. 3-1 is 3-1. All 3-1s are made equal. There's no unequal 3-1. We become 3-1, 1-1 in conference. That's all you ask. That's all I can ask for. That's on the road to winning 6 games.
Last one, real quick. Bush Hampton said this can still be a damn good offense. Agree, disagree?
Yes.
Yes,
it can. And
okay.
And one big reason is he has 2 running backs that he needs to rely on a little bit more. We can't be 50-50. We got to be 60-40 run the pass. And we're teetering on being too balanced and not being a little bit out of balance. 60-40 is where we should live.
I'm going to go a little further. I'm going to tell you 70-30. Hang on. But I'm going to count dumping the ball off to the 2 running backs as part of the 70. In other words, make it a 5-yard pass that's almost like a run.
You can't do that, Mr. Cutler. Aaron Rodgers tossed the ball right in front of him like 3 inches and got a touchdown out of it, and it was a touchdown pass.
Okay,
it's still a pass.
Well, you're right. It's still a pass.
It's still a pass.
Would you know what I'm saying semantically? You're trying to.
I'm trying to win here. I'm trying to win.
Know what I'm saying? In other words, 60-40. Let me put it to this way: that the 2, I have to spell it out simplistically because you're about to smack me around.
I am. Go ahead.
I like your smile. I am. Okay. We'll go 60-40, but part of the 40 is I was trying to play chess with you and you're beating me in checkers. Part of the Well, you know what? I really like that line. Part of the 60-40 is that the 2 running backs catch the ball. Between them, I'm not saying they're going to catch 15 balls, but between them, they should catch at least 6 to 8 balls.
That's a lot then, Mr. Cutler.
Between them.
That's a lot because tight end's going to catch 10 because everybody wants to throw the tight end.
Yeah, but
tight ends need 10 touches.
Okay.
I'm joking, Mr. Cutler. I'm joking.
I know. Okay, they should get a few more, but sometimes you can't tell on TV. I couldn't tell how many times they weren't open, but him holding the ball was egregious. Okay, you make your last comment on football. Let's give a great plug for everything you do.
All right, I want y'all to take a step back, the same way I had to do Saturday night. It's 1-1. This one game does not make a season. This is disappointing for sure. Is it uninspiring? For sure. But each week is a different week. We're 1-1. Let's let it play out. Y'all should tune in to The Locker tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Locker 411 on all social media platforms, myself and Anthony White. I promise you it's going to be a delightful show. And we're not governed by FCC. So if you have young children, don't have them in the room because it's gonna be some colorful words used this evening.
Let's put it this way. I've heard you guys use words I can't use on the show.
Oh, for sure. Come on now. It's not governed. It's free for all.
You think
I'm the worst one. I'm the worst one.
You think I'm governed?
Well, you are governed now because Jimmy will be back there, beep, beep, hitting that dump button.
He's had to do that before.
I know he has. He's quick on it.
Yeah, he is. Bless you, man. I appreciate you tremendously. Sparring with you is great joy. Again, we went longer than I thought, but it seemed like a 20-minute conversation when it was much more than that. You're great. I'm really happy. Others are noticing how good you are, but our up and back is the best.
I appreciate it. And I won this one. Jimmy, put that win in Van's column. I know that other column's empty. Just keep putting them back. Keep racking them up.
Man, here's what happens.
Bye, Mr. Cutler.
No. There's a lot of ties here. You didn't win one, and I knocked you out.
Oh, Mr. Cutler, you had a couple body blows, and then I came in round 8, 9, and 10 and sealed the deal. And now you are in your corner complaining to your cut man that they didn't heal that cut well enough, and had to call the fight. I apologize,
Jimmy. I know you're going to be on Van's side. You do see how I won today, correct?
I saw in the beginning of the fight, but like Van said, those championship rounds, round 7, 8, 9. I
mean, clear winner.
Two of you need to be ashamed of yourself.
Sorry, Mr. Cutler.
Hey, Van, you're the best.
You too, man.
Bless you.
See you again next week.
Lie about one thing.
What's that?
If you did something to your beard to look pretty now that you're a media star.
This media star thing's got to stop. No, I just I don't know what I don't have a good comeback now. I've used them all.
Bless you, brother.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. Van Hiles. Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914, 859-533-0914. Acupuncture, now also providing a licensed massage therapist. Ramon has helped me not a little, but he's helped me tremendously. I miss him. I will see him this week, and I got to tell you, I also miss Terry Page. I need work done. I need a massage. She's spectacular. 859-373-0578. 859-373-0578. First part of the week in Butler, Kentucky. Last part of the week, last 3 days in Lexington, Kentucky. She's been booked up recently. Check her out. She's been awesome for me. Thank you to Scott Boley, Cutter's dad. He was great, rooting for Cutter like crazy. My partner in Cut to the Chase, Dr. John Wong, always special. Van Hiles, I just feel like, Jimmy, I went 15 rounds and I'm tired. What do you think?
Yeah, you need a 24-hour break, 22-hour break, it seems like.
22 hours. And Jimmy, as always, thank you so much. Appreciate you. I guess we'll talk about the elk a little bit more tomorrow. And one of the blessed weeks I've ever had, Judy's ever had our whole life. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for tuning in. If you're just joining us, the podcast will be up by 2:30. Scott Boley, thank you. Again, also thank you, Van Hiles and Dr. John Wong.